Do you remember why you first fell in love with movies? It seems like a simple question, but when you've been in the hobby for so long, it's a surprisingly tricky one to answer. When you've watched so many, loving films just sort of becomes a given. I love them because that's the way I've always been. Every now and then, though, I'll watch a movie that reminds me of why I fell in love with the medium in the first place. And this year, one of those films was Elio. Elio is not a perfect movie by any means. The movie is plenty rushed, a lot of scenes feel like they were rendered in fast forward, and the screenplay definitely needed one or two more drafts to feel tighter and better constructed. However, stories have always been personal. Your experiences, personality, and the media you've consumed all play a part in how you feel about any work of art. And Elio feels like it came to me at just the right time. I'm at the right crossroads of childhood and adulthood, loneliness and individuality, that this movie feels especially made for me. I just thought the film was out of this world. Literally. So what about Elio made me remember why I fell in love with movies in the first place? Well, let's start with a quick summary. Elio follows a young boy named Elio, who lives with his aunt Olga after the tragic death of both his parents. As the years go by, he becomes obsessed with aliens, and he longs to be abducted by them. Especially since he feels unwanted on Earth and by his aunt Olga, who gave up her dreams of becoming an astronaut to raise him.
What about the astronaut program? Aren't you about...
No, not anymore. The timing just isn't right.
One day, though, a message from aliens does arrive at Aunt Olga's workplace, and Elio decides to sneakily reply back.
So please come and get me, I'll be waiting, okay, bye, love you!
Elio then gets abducted and welcomed into the Communiverse, an incredible place filled with aliens from different worlds that Elio falls in love with.
It's like I was always meant to be here.
Through a seriously messy set of events, the messiness of Elio's first half is his biggest flaw. Elio must negotiate with a war-loving alien named Lord Grigan to secure his place in the Communiverse.
Until then, as you say on Earth, okay, bye, I love you.
Bye, I love you.
Don't worry, I got this.
Along the way, he meets Lord Grigan's son named Gordon, with whom he finds he gets along really well, and the two find comfort and understanding in each other as they become best friends.
I like you, and you seem fine to me.
Elio hits hard when you grew up as the kid who never really fit in. The kid who had trouble finding their place in the world. Hell, I'm still that kid now. And while the plot of being abducted by aliens as a metaphor of feelings of isolation is a pretty obvious one, the film makes it really effective. Elio is a film about loneliness. There's no debate about it. The film makes it very clear what its main theme is, and is all the stronger for doing so. The beginning even asks a very important question. Are we alone in the universe?
Since the dawn of time, humans have gazed at the stars and wondered, are we alone?
Well, are we? For kids and, well, people like Elio can often feel that way. Elio is a unique kid. He's creative, he's talented, and he's passionate about the things he loves. And in a world where everyone's so afraid of being different and seeming weird, standing out can often feel like the loneliest thing. When Elio's directors were doing their research for the film, they discovered that so many people in the world felt alone, but felt ashamed to admit it. According to them, one of the things that we found out was that when you do feel alone, a lot of times people, especially kids, are too ashamed to admit that they feel alone. It's kind of like you feel guilty, like there's something wrong with you if you're feeling this way. Or if you can't make friends, there must be something wrong with you. Because of that, we build walls around us and put on masks to hide our negative emotions. But true connection really only comes when we build bridges instead of walls and learn to be vulnerable with each other.
To expose your soft worm flesh will dishonor you and your whole family for all eternity.
Elio and Gordon, for instance, connect through their shared loneliness and feelings of being different. As Gordon's species puts on a suit of armor when they come of age, and Gordon hates the idea of doing so.
Because all Hylerkians have to do it. It's tradition. And if I don't, my dad would hate me.
In turn, Gordon and his dad are able to connect when Lord Grigan literally rips off his armor, and Gordon opens up about not wanting to be a war machine.
I don't want to be a war machine.
I may not always understand you, but I still love you.
So it goes with Elio and his Aunt Olga. As a parent, Aunt Olga doesn't always make the wisest of choices. I mean, she says this.
I have enough to deal with already.
Which, yikes. That would hurt me a lot too if I was a kid. But at the same time, Aunt Olga never chose to be a parent.
This just isn't how I thought my life would be.
Her sister and brother-in-law's deaths were a tragedy that she had to adjust to. And it's only when she opens up to Elio's clone about how alone she feels, without realizing that she's talking to the real Elio, that she and Elio start to truly connect.
It just feels so alone.
At the end of the film, Elio gets offered a place in the Communiverse, but decides to go back to Earth, at least for now.
This isn't goodbye. It's just not yet.
And when he does so, Ambassador Questia tells him this.
You are unique, Elio of Earth. And unique can sometimes feel like alone. But you are not alone.
This quote from Ambassador Questia is a quote I know I'll be telling myself over and over. Because she's right. I'm not alone. And neither are you. And neither is Elio. In the most unlikely of places and the most unexpected ways, Elio found his home with the aliens of the Communiverse, with his aunt Olga, and most especially with his best friend Gordon. That's not even the end of the waterworks either. As Elio's translation device turns off as he's about to go back to Earth, every alien begins telling him,
Okay. Bye. I love you.
and as they go on one by one, the voices get more and more muzzled. Until finally, Gordon says it in a completely alien language. And Elio responds back.
Love you too.
It's the ultimate message that love and belonging aren't just words. They're feelings that Elio has all around him, even when it's being said in another language. Even when the words become less and less understandable, they're still understandable in the way that truly matters. The words may be lost in translation, but the meaning never stops. Our shields and armors may feel hard and cold, but true friendship is like a warm blanket wrapped all around you. As the Robert Brawl quote goes, having perfected our disguise, we spend our lives searching for someone we don't fool. Like I said, Elio is far from a perfect film, and the side characters do leave a lot to be desired. The ambassadors of the Communiverse are likable enough, but they don't really do anything other than be a witness to Elio's antics. And save for that touching moment at the end of The Sun, Lord Gregan is kinda just a villain. A pretty lame villain too, considering how the main inciting incident for his attack was a miscommunicated sentence from Elio.
If he's too hard to handle, then just ship him off. That's what I did with mine.
Too hard to handle?
As for Aunt Olga, I do love the angle of her feeling just as alone as Elio does, and I thought that scene was exceptionally done. But she mostly feels like a product of the screenplay. When Elio gets abducted, for instance, they send a clone to pretend to be him on Earth, and I just never bought that she knew for sure that this wasn't Elio. Though it is funny how one of the things that tipped her off was Elio having friends. Nor did I buy that she secretly learned Elioese when she was so against it in the film's beginning.
Schmeegly, schmarpy, blop.
You learned Elioese?
Shmipa de Gumiba.
No, I'm not learning Elioese.
I mean, if you're trying to connect with your kid, why not let him know that you're learning his language? Literally. However lackluster the side characters may be though, I utterly love the central duo that was Elio and Gordon. They're just two sweet, caring, lovable little boys that you're glad found each other. Elio, our titular character, is such a blast to be around. I love this space-loving, pun-making,
Gordon?
Yes! Pretty soon he's gonna be Glor-done.
Elioese speaking,
You know Elioese? Sleep Glorbo Schmeep.
little weirdo with a big heart, who's so full of life I found it infectious.
Rock, paper, black hole! Oh! Space is amazing!
A fervent and zealous character, Elio was a protagonist I found myself empathizing with a lot, and for most of the runtime, I wanted to jump into the screen and give him a tight hug. He's a deeply special kid, but he's also just a kid, a human being who wants to belong. And I relate a lot to his loneliness, to his feeling like an outsider, his search for a home. When Elio first met Gordon, I knew the two would make an incredible pair.
My name's Elio. Well, what's your name?
You really want to know my name?
Well, I really want to get down.
I'm Glorden.
Gordon was such an adorable sweetheart, who was so charming and innocent, he was impossible not to love.
It's bespoke.
Despite showing up 40 minutes into the film, His friendship with Elio is the bedrock of the movie. If these two's friendship wasn't as endearing as it is, I wouldn't be making this video. Elio and Gordon's friendship tugged at my heartstrings a lot. Extremely glad that Elio was finally feeling what it was like to be wanted, to be loved, to meet someone who was on the same frequency as you.
On three. One, two,
2.5.
2.5, 3.
And like all friendship films, this one has a best friend montage. The entire time I was watching Elio and Gordon flying through the communiverse, playing around in gravity, and practicing their handshake, it just made me feel like a little boy again. It certainly helps that this montage is carried by the most 80s sounding score on the soundtrack, Hold My Gorp. An incredible score to listen to while watching Elio and Gordon simply become best friends. By the way, let me just take a second to appreciate Elio's clone, who is my third favorite character in the film.
Sorry. It's a living.
You made a friend?
The scene of him distracting the area's guards satisfied the horror lover in me, and was yet another moment in the film that felt especially made for me.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service indeed, Elio clone. Those poor guards are gonna be scarred for life. Elio is a sci-fi movie. Pixar's second because we are pretending Lightyear never existed. And it's one that takes inspiration from the sci-fi films of the past, like Alien, The Thing, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But I don't want to talk about those films. Instead, I want to talk about the animated films that were my Elio back in the day. The films that comforted me as a kid, the same way Elio comforts me now as an adult. Well, really only an adult in the age sense. I don't think I'll ever stop being a kid. When I was 14, no film made me feel more seen than Laika's Paranorman. That was when I really started loving movies. And a huge part of it was because movies made me feel seen in a way that the real world didn't. Much like Elio, Norman was also the weird kid who didn't have any friends, but found friendship in another unique kid named Neil. And there was one line from the movie that always comforted me.
You think just because there's bad people out there that there's no good ones either? I thought the same thing for a while. But there's always someone out there for you. Somewhere.
And no line has ever really topped that. Until now.
You are unique, Elio of Earth. And unique can sometimes feel like alone. But you are not alone.
I repeated Norman's line a lot to myself when I was growing up. The same way I know I'll be repeating Precious' line to myself as I continue to grow up now too. That same year, Wreck-It Ralph was also released. Another film that told me that I wasn't alone. That there was someone else out there for me, who would love me for everything that made me unique. Like Elio and Gordon, Penelope and Ralph found comfort in each other through their shared loneliness.
By yourself? With all this garbage around you?
Well, yeah. I mean, everyone here says I'm just a mistake and that I wasn't even supposed to exist. What do you expect?
And for a time, Wreck-It Ralph was my go-to film whenever I felt lost and alone and without a place in the world.
You know, you could just stay here and live in the castle. You'd have your own wing where no one would ever complain about your stench or treat you bad ever again. You could be happy.
I'm already happy. Got the coolest friend in the world.
And while it's not a film, the Simpsons episode Summer of 4'2" was always one I found really comforting. In this episode, Lisa realizes that she has no friends after nobody wants to sign her yearbook.
I've been myself for 8 years and it hasn't worked.
So when her family goes on vacation, she tries to make friends by pretending to be someone else. But Bart tells her new friends who she really is. And she says this, another line that I really identified with growing up.
Being myself didn't work. Being someone else didn't work. Maybe I just wasn't meant to have friends.
Of course, it turns out Lisa's new friends actually really loved the real Lisa, and thought she was at her best when she was simply being herself.
You can't fake the kind of good person that you are.
You taught us about cool things like nature and why we shouldn't drink seawater.
When I say that Elio reminds me of why I fell in love with movies in the first place, and really just stories in general, it's because the mere existence of Elio answers the very question it asks. Are we alone?
And it touches to the deepest of human concerns. Are we alone?
And the answer is, we're not. No matter how unique we are or how alone we feel, none of us are alone. There's always someone out there for us. We just have to keep sending out the signal.
Gordon, your disc is muted.
Oops, sorry. Now, tell me everything.
And growing up, movies and shows, animated ones especially, have always made me feel less alone. They made me feel so seen and continue to do so all the time. The characters feeling like they're my friends. And Elio takes me back to a time when that first started really happening. Whenever younger me felt alone, he'd put on a favorite movie. And suddenly, for 90 minutes to 2 hours, he wasn't so alone anymore. I'm glad for all my animated friends. I've gained a lot over my many years of being an animation fan, and I couldn't be happier to welcome Elio and Gloria into the group. Okay, bye. I love you. Thank you for bringing me home.